Welcome guys. In the last class, we have seen Article 263, which is Interstate Council. Okay. And then I have told you amendment of the Constitution. Okay. Voice? Is my voice audible? No? Check. Okay. Fine. See, in the last class, we have seen Article 263, which is Interstate Council. And then we have seen amendment of Constitution. Okay. So, amendment, I have told you it is of many types. One type comes under Article 368. Through Article 368, if you are doing any kind of amendment, then you need to come up with special majority or special majority plus ratification of states. Okay, that we have seen in Article 368. So write down here, this comes under Part 20. Part 20. This comes under Part 20. So add this point to that class. Part 20. Okay. Then, okay. So let's have a quick revision again. See, we have seen center-state relations. Center-state relations. First, we have seen legislative relations. Comes under Article 245 to 255. And then we have seen administrative relations from Article 256 to 263. So these two will come under Part 11. And then we have seen financial relations, Article 264 to 300A. So this comes under Part 12. And then we have covered that interstate relationship, Article 263. So, see, let's see what are the problems between center and state. Okay, if you are clear with the problems, then you can easily understand what are the recommendations which are given by Sarkaria Commission. Sarkaria Commission is nothing new. See, they have also read this center state relationship just like we are reading. Okay, and then they come up with some recommendations. See, this point I felt like somewhere this can create conflict between center and state. That's the reason, instead of doing this, if you can do like this, then there will be no conflicts at all. Okay, so Sarkaria Commission is nothing but simply it will come up with some recommendations. Okay, so to understand those recommendations, first you need to understand what are the problems. First one is Article 263. They have given a provision about interstate council, but nowhere they created. The provision is given in the original constitution in 1950, but till 1990 they haven't created interstate council. So first problem is interstate council. Second problem, see, wherever you are feeling, second problem is governor of the state. He is appointed by president, and somewhere he is acting like a agent of center in the state. Yes, so governor appointment, this may create conflict between center and state. Yes, and any other? All India services, Article 311. All India services, Article 311, which is giving special powers to the civil servants, bureaucrats. 311 special powers to bureaucrats. 312 is different. 312 is giving Rajya Sabha power to create a new All India service. 311 is, it is giving special powers to bureaucrats, All India service administrators. Okay, next, any other? See, we have read everything, okay? So wherever you are feeling this can create, you can tell me. President's rule. President's rule. Yes. So president's rule. Any other? Huh? Okay. Oh, let's keep it like residuary powers and concurrent list. Okay. Residuary powers only with center, not with state, and concurrent list. Concurrent list. If like on the concurrent list, both can make law. If both are making, if there is any conflict, then central law will prevail and state law will disappear. Okay. Any other? Think. Any other? You remember Article 200? Governor can reserve bill for the president's assent. Yes. This may create. Yes or no? Yes. Article 200. Any other? Article 3. By using Article 3, center can divide a state into as many parts it can. Yes. Just like it did with Andhra Pradesh. Yes. So Article 3, only it is the power of center. Okay. If state want to like reject the bill, even if they reject the bill, it doesn't make any difference. Okay. So here there may be chances. Article 3. Any other? See, wherever if you are feeling like there is a conflict, there may be chances that here there is going to be conflict. For those things, Sarkaria Commission given answers, solutions for that. Okay. So Sarkaria Commission, first write down these basic problems. Okay. Done? Yes. So see, Sarkaria Commission. What happened is, see, before also there are some commissions which are formed, but Sarkaria Commission and Punchi Commission, their recommendations are really important for your examination point of view. Remaining things I'll cover in the current affairs point of view. Okay. So what happened is, center constituted a committee, okay, to decrease the conflicts between center and the states. Okay. So the one of the prominent committee is this Sarkaria Commission. Okay. Now keep a heading as Sarkaria Commission. Sarkaria Commission. See, why this committee is called as Sarkaria Commission? Because the chairman is Sarkaria, Ranjit Singh Sarkaria. Okay. So chairman Ranjit Singh Sarkaria. Ranjit Singh Sarkaria. Ranjit Singh Sarkaria. Okay. It was formed in, constituted in the year of 1983. It is constituted in the year of 1983. So in this year only we have won the World Cup, right? Okay, so you can remember with World Cup year. It gave recommendations in 1987. Recommendations in 1987. Those recommendations were published. Those recommendations were published in 1988. Those recommendations were published in 1988. So simple. Sarkaria Commission means it is a committee which is formed by the center to decrease the disputes between center and the state. Okay. See, we have seen so many problems. Okay. Similarly, he also read the administrative, like central and state relations, all the legislative, administrative, financial relations. Now he came up with some recommendations. Okay, you know how many recommendations he came up with? 247. How many? 247. See, we have seen few problems. Okay, but he came up with 247, which means he felt so many problems are there between center and the state. So for each and every problem, he came up with some recommendations. Okay, so those recommendations we're gonna see now. But see, it is impossible for me to teach all those 247 recommendations, and it is impossible for you guys to remember all this 247 recommendations. So what I'll be doing is, like, I'll tell you some important recommendations which are important from your examination point of view. But still, I can recommend after this class, okay, you search it in the Google saying Sarkaria Commission report. Okay, in that you will find 247 recommendations. See, all are basic recommendations only. Just go through it for once. Just go through it for once. I mean, still, I mean, I'll be teaching everything here. What all the things which are important in your examination perspective. Rest, if you have like if you have single doubt also, you can reach back to me. Okay. So keep a heading as recommendations. Recommendations. Okay. So first one will be Article 263, which is Interstate Council. So see, in which year the recommendations came? 1987. Okay. But I have told you Interstate Council for the first time it is formed in the year 1990. So based on the recommendations of Sarkaria Commission, Interstate Council formed. Some pressure is created on the center, and that pressure is created only because VP Singh government is a coalition government. Okay. So when the recommendations came, it was published in 1988. People started demanding for interstate council, but no government took it seriously because they are in majority. They want to do, they really don't want to do this. When VP Singh government came, it was a coalition government. Every state will think like, okay, if there is an interstate council, then we can resolve our issues with the central in the interstate council. Every state will think like this. Okay. So when VP Singh government came, it actually worked out, and they created this interstate council. But I have already told you this is for no use. Okay. And the reasons I have told you. Okay. But the source is Sarkaria Commission. When Sarkaria Commission came up with its recommendations, then pressure created on the government, and states started demanding for the interstate council. And finally, in 1990, they constituted this interstate council. Understood? So here the first recommendation is to constitute a permanent interstate council. A permanent interstate council. To constitute a permanent interstate council. This is the first recommendation. See, both Sarkaria Commission, Punchi Commission, both given their first recommendation as interstate council only. See, that much important interstate council is. Done. The second problem is president's rule. Yes. So second one is president's rule. Okay. So here Sarkaria Commission said, see, president rule must be the last window. Even Ambedkar said, I'm giving this article here, but I don't want anyone to use this article. But still, it has been used for more than 350 around. Okay. So here, this should be the last window. What they have said? President rule must be last window. President's rule must be last window. If you are feeling like if any state government is not in line with the constitution, first you give some warning. Okay. First you give warning. Later, after the warning also, it is not following the constitution, then go for the president's rule. Okay. It is not the case like, I mean, if you feel like they are not following, then immediately you go with president rule. No, president rule should be the last window. Okay. If you are feeling like a state government is not in line with the constitution, that in the first case you have to give warning. You have to warn them. Okay. So first instance must be warning. 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 This is when they are not following the constitution, or if central is giving some instructions, if state is not following, then these two things will be applicable. First, they have to give the warning. If state government is not listening to the union, then they can go with president rule as a last window. Okay. Let's say if there is a hung parliament. In the hung parliament case also, we can implement president's rule. Yes? Yes or no? In the hung parliament case also, we can implement president's rule. Here, Sarkaria Commission is suggesting the government. See, whenever there is a hung parliament case, don't go with president's rule. Instead, what you can do is, there only you can create an acting government. Okay. Give them some time to prove their majority. If they are not proving their majority, give chance to some other party. They'll form their acting government there. Give them 30 days. They'll come up with the majority. If they are also not proving their majority, then you go with president's rule. Okay. If you are feeling like there is a hung parliament case, then immediately don't go with president rule. First form a acting government and give them some specific time. They'll come up with the majority and they'll prove their majority on the floor. If not the case, then only go with the President's rule. Okay. So if it is the case of hung parliament, first go with acting government. Acting government. Instead of president's rule. Instead of president's rule. Okay. I mean, in the down you can write down. We should give them some specific time to prove their majority. In the down you can write. We should give them some specific time to prove their majority. If they are failed to do so, then we can go with president's rule. We should give some specific time to prove their majority. If they fail to do so, then only we can go with president's rule. We should give some specific time. We should give some specific time to prove their majority. If they fail to do so, then president's rule. So here also it must be the last window. See, what happens is, even when chief minister is resigning, okay, first chief minister will be asked to behave as an acting chief minister. Let's say recently elections happened. We have Jagan Mohan Reddy as chief minister. So when the new elections happened and the new party came into the majority, Jagan is going to resign. When Jagan is going to resign, when he is giving his resignation letter to the governor, what governor will do is, like, he won't implement president's rule. Instead, he'll ask Jagan to act as an acting chief minister. Okay. So he'll be acting as an acting chief minister. On the day the new chief minister taking the oath, then he'll continue as chief minister. In between, if he is not agreed to act as an acting chief minister, then only president's rule will be implemented. So here also president's rule is last window. First they'll ask the previous chief minister to act as an acting chief minister. If he is not agreed with that, then only will implement president's rule. Understood? Okay. Now the fourth thing is, see, if governor is feeling like, a state government is not in line with the constitution, immediately he can't dissolve the legislature. Anyways, once he implemented the president rule, obviously executive will be dissolved, but immediately he cannot dissolve the legislature. Immediately he cannot dissolve the legislature and he can invite for the new elections. No, he cannot do like that. First, he should come up with a report. That report should be like small and detailed and factual. So clear factual information must be there in the report. Okay, this report he has to submit to the president. Okay, and this must be given to the media. This report must be given to the media. Then only you can dissolve the legislature and you can invite for the new elections. See, what happens is, once the president rule is implemented, immediately executive will be dissolved. You have two options. One, you can choose some other party from the state and you can ask them to prove their majority. First option. Second option is, you can dissolve the legislature and you can invite for the new elections. Two options we have. Yes. So if you are choosing the first option, it's good to go. If you are choosing the second option, then what you have to do is governor should come up with a clear report mentioning all the facts why he is going with the president's rule. Okay, this report he must submit to the president. Okay, and later it must be published in the newspapers and all. Okay, then he can dissolve the legislature. Directly he cannot dissolve the legislature. Okay, so governor directly cannot dissolve the directly cannot dissolve the legislature. First need to come up with the report, need to come up with the report. Okay, this report he must submit to president. This must be published. This must be published in the newspapers and news channels, and then he can dissolve, and then he can governor can dissolve, then governor can dissolve legislature, and then governor can dissolve the legislature. Okay, so when the report came, when the report came 88, it was published in 88. Then a famous scale case called SR Bommai case. SR Bommai case came, yes, in which year? 1994. Okay, here in this case Supreme Court said you cannot dissolve legislature directly. Once governor or president is implemented the president's rule, it must be approved by the parliament within 2 months. Once after the approval from the parliament only you can dissolve the legislature. See, when the president rule is implemented directly, executive will be dissolved automatically. But to dissolve legislature, first this president's rule must be approved in the parliament by the both the houses. Then only you can dissolve the legislature. Okay, so by following Sarkaria Commission report, see, governor before what he used to do is like, see, immediately once after he proclaimed the president's rule, immediately he used to dissolve the legislature. He used to call for the new elections. Okay, but later after the Sarkaria Commission recommendations, SR Bommai case, Supreme Court said you cannot dissolve legislature directly. Okay, to dissolve the legislature, first once after proclaiming the president's rule, it must be approved by the parliament. Once after the parliament approval only you can dissolve the legislature. Okay, so that point came from the Sarkaria Commission. Okay, you need to connect the matrices. Okay, Supreme Court said can dissolve Lok Sabha only after the can dissolve legislature only after the approval of President's rule by the Parliament. By the Parliament. By the Parliament. Okay. So within 2 months, they need to get approval from the Parliament. You remember? In the case of national emergency, 1 month. Yes? 30 days only. But here we have 2 months. Done? Okay. So we have seen for fifth one. See, let's say there is a party. Okay. So it got into, like, it came into the power because of the coalition. Okay. Once it came into the power, okay, governor felt like it came into the power because of coalition. Later, once it came into the power, governor felt like now it doesn't has any majority. The parties which supported this party before, now they are not supporting this party anymore. This who felt? Governor. Okay. Even if it is the reality also, directly you cannot proclaim president's rule. You have to give 30 days time to the chief minister to prove his majority. Okay. So within 30 days, he has to prove his majority. If he is not proving his majority, after 30 days, you can call for the session and you can introduce, I mean, you or anyone can introduce no confidence motion. If it is passed, then the party have to resign. Okay, then president rule will be applicable. Understood? Yes. So if governor is feeling like CM doesn't has any support, okay, first CM has to be given some specific time, which is 30 days, clearly mentioned here. Okay. So within 30 days, CM has to prove his majority. If not the case, governor after 30 days, he'll call for the session and he'll, or else anyone can introduce no confidence motion. If it is passed, then the party has to be resigned. Okay, then only president's rule will be applicable. Okay, so CM, chief minister, has to be given 30 days time to prove his majority on the floor. To prove his majority on the floor. On the floor. To prove his majority on the floor. Done? So these are the recommendations given for the president's rule. What all the recommendations he has given? See. See. First one, president rule must be the last window. Okay. So first instance, they have to give the warning. If the party or if the government is not listening, then only they have to go for the president's rule as a last window. In case of hung parliament, acting government must be formed. Instead of president rule, pick someone from the state legislature and give them an opportunity to form a acting government, and then give them some specific time to prove their majority on the floor. If they are failed to do so, then you can implement president's rule. Okay. Then governor directly he cannot dissolve the legislature. First he has to come up with a report, clear and factual report. This report he must submit to the president, and this report must be published in the newspapers and news channels. Then only you can dissolve the legislature. Okay, so by following this, SR Bommai case came in 1994. In the SR Bommai case, Supreme Court said you cannot dissolve legislature directly. What you have to do is, first you proclaim the president rule. Now get approval from the parliament. Once you got approval from the parliament, then you can dissolve the legislature. Before that, you cannot do like that. Okay. And then last one we have seen is CM has to give 30 days time to prove his majority on floor. If he is failed to do so, then you can introduce no confidence motion after 30 days. If he is failed, then president rule will be applicable. Okay. So like, governor felt there is, no confidence for the chief minister, and immediately he cannot do the implement the president rule. Okay. First he has to be given some enough time, which is 30 days. Okay. And then the third problem which we have seen is, third only, right? All India services. All India services. Let's see what Sarkaria Commission told about all India services. Okay. You got the difference between Article 311 and 312? Using Article 312, Rajya Sabha can create new all India services. Article 311, which gives special powers to the all India services. Okay. So here Sarkaria Commission said everything is going good with the all India services. No problem is there with the all India services. If possible, strengthen the all India services, which means give more power. Strengthen the all India services, which means give more power to the all India services. Okay. And if possible, create new all India services like all Indian judicial service, all Indian judicial service, all India educational service, all India health service. So it has given some examples as well. Okay, everything is going good with the all India services, so no need to change anything. Okay, if possible, strengthen, give more powers to the all India services, and if possible, create new all India services like judicial service, educational service, and health service. Till now we have only 3: Indian Administrative Service, Indian Police Service, and in 1966 we have got one more service, which is Indian Forest Service. Okay, apart from that we don't have any other all India services. So here in Sarkaria Commission, he is recommending to create some new all India services. To create some new all India services. Done? Residuary powers. Residuary powers means these powers they forgot or it came later, but these powers are nowhere mentioned in Schedule 7, either in state list or union list or concurrent list. What is the article for residuary powers? Huh? 248. 248. Okay. So what residuary powers are with union. Residuary powers are with union, that we borrowed from Canada. Okay. In the Canada also residuary powers are with union, not with the state. In USA residuary powers are with state, and in Australia residuary powers are with state. Okay. In 1935 Government of India Act, residuary powers are with Governor General. In the objective resolution, the residuary powers are with state. Okay, so this is about residuary powers. So Sarkaria Commission given some recommendations. Sarkaria Commission divided these residuary powers into two types. Residuary powers regarding to the taxation and other residuary powers. See, service tax we don't mention, like nowhere it is mentioned in the constitution. Later government came up with service tax. So this is residuary power only, but under taxation. Okay, so the residuary powers under taxation, they must be given to the union. They must be given to the union. But other residuary powers must be included in the concurrent list. Must be included in the concurrent list, which means both can make law on this concurrent list. Okay, so residuary power, Sarkaria Commission divided into two types. One under taxation, second one is other residuary powers. If it is the matter of taxation, then it must include in the union list. Only union government can make law on the particular residuary power. Okay, but if it is the other matters, then it must be included in the concurrent list, which means both center and the state can make law on this list. Okay, now keep a heading as concurrent list. About concurrent list also, Sarkaria Commission came up with some recommendations. Concurrent list. Okay, so see, on the concurrent list, both union can and center can make the laws. If union law is prevailing, then to say, like, if there is any conflict between union and state law, then union law will be prevailing and the state law will be disappearing. Okay, so here Sarkaria Commission said is, see, concurrent list both has powers. Okay, even we agree that on concurrent list both has powers, but we'll recommend center, you don't make laws on concurrent list. You give powers to the state only. Okay, like as far as possible, only states can make law on the concurrent list. Okay, when it comes to public order matter or sovereignty and integrity matter, if the country needs a uniform law, then only union can make a law on the concurrent list. Okay, that too it has to take permission from the interstate council. If states are approving, then only center can create a law on the concurrent list. That too, if it is a matter of public order, sovereignty and integrity of the nation. For these three things, if country needs a uniform law, then only center can create a law on the concurrent list by taking permission from the interstate council. Understood? Yes. Generally, only states can make, only states has to make law on concurrent list. If it is the matter of sovereignty and integrity, एकता और अखंडता, public order, for these two things, if we need a uniform law, then center need to take permission from the from interstate council. Which article? 263. If it is approved, then union can make law on then union can make law on concurrent list. Then union can make law on concurrent list. Understood? This residuary powers. Residuary powers. Only taxation things must be there with union. Remaining other things must be included in concurrent list. Now, Sarkaria Commission is talking about the concurrent list. Concurrent list also, as far as possible, okay, center, you don't create any law from the concurrent list. Okay, this power must be given to the states. Okay, if there is any matter of public order, sovereignty, integrity, if you feel like there should be a uniform law across the country, then only you can take permission from the interstate council and then you can create law on that concurrent list. But generally, you don't have a right to create law on the concurrent list. I mean, this is just a recommendation. In reality, you know the case. Done? Done? Now, the sixth one is Article 200. Article 200. Article 200. 200 minus 89. 200 minus 89. 111. Minus 89. 111. So what is Article 111? Veto powers of the president. Okay, which means whenever a bill which has, I mean, approved by the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, once it reaches to the president, president has three powers. One is he can give his assent, he can withhold his assent, and he can return the bill for reconsideration. Okay, so this is the power of Article 200 is the power of governor. Here, governor has four things. One is he can give his assent. Second one is he can withhold. Third one is he can return for reconsideration. And the fourth one is he can reserve the bill for president. So the problem arrives here when he reserves the bill for the president. The problem exists here. Remaining three things, it is okay, fair. Okay, but whenever he is reserving the bill for the president, the problem occurs here. Okay, so we're gonna see what recommendations given by Sarkaria Commission. What is Article 100? Fine, quorum. Done? Okay, so Article 200, we have a problem here when the governor is reserving the bill for the president. So for this, Sarkaria Commission given some recommendations. First one is, see, governor has to reserve the bill only if the bill is not in line with the constitution. Okay, if the ideology is different with the central government, you cannot reserve the bill. See, generally what happens is, if there is different parties in the state and center, see, Congress ideology will be different, BJP ideology will be different. See, whenever if a bill is against the BJP ideology, then what happens is governor will reserve the bill for the president's assent. Okay, but here Sarkaria Commission is recommending, whenever the bill is not in line with the constitution, then you reserve the bill for the president. It's fair. But if the bill is not in line with the ideology, then you cannot reserve the bill. Okay, understood the first recommendation? So if the bill is not in line with the constitution, then can reserve the bill for president. If the bill is not in line with the ideology, then you cannot reserve the bill. Reserve the bill. If it is not in line with the ideology, then you cannot reserve the bill. Okay, see, because people elected the state government only because they have liked the ideology. Okay, so they should come up with the bills which is showing their ideology. Okay, if this ideology is not in line with the center, you cannot reserve the bill for the president, because people like the ideology. That's the reason they have voted the state government. So this ideology must be encouraged because people elected that ideology. Understood? Done? Okay, see, what happens is, whenever the bill is reserved for the president, president won't take any action on the bill. President won't take any action on the bill. Okay, it's like a pocket veto power for the president. He won't even consider the bill. Okay, so here Sarkaria Commission is recommending, see, whenever a bill is coming to you for the assent, okay, you must take action within 4 months. Within 4 months. Okay, so the second one is, within 4 months, president need to take action. President need to take action. Within 4 months, president need to take action. It is not the case like, I mean, see, the bill came and you didn't acted on the bill. Okay, and I mean, it's been hold for the 5 years. No, it shouldn't be the case. You must act within 4 months. Okay, let's say he has given his assent, then no problem at all. If he withholds, then he has to mention the reason. Okay, so if president is withholding the bill, he has to mention the reason. He has to mention the reason. Like, see, I mean, if you are giving assent, then no worries at all, everything is going good. Second one, if you are withholding the bill, then you must come up with the reason why you are withholding the bill. You must come up with the reason why you are withholding the bill. Okay, So fine, he'll come up with a reason and he withholded the bill. Okay. What if he didn't withhold it? Instead, he chose to return the bill for the reconsideration. To return the bill for the reconsideration. Then what happens is the state government generally they'll return back the same bill again. Okay. So this time what has to be done is within 2 months, president has to take action. When a bill is sent back for the reconsideration, at that time, president has only 2 months to take action. In the normal cases, when the bill is coming for the first instance, then he has 4 months to take action. Okay, once he sent the bill for the reconsideration, okay, now the bill came back to the president again. Now president has only 2 months. Okay, so in case of the bill sent for bill returned for reconsideration, returned for reconsideration, president has 2 months to take action. To take action. President has 2 months to take action. Okay. President has 2 months to take action. Understood? Yes. See, there is one more thing. This is also just like a act, which is ordinance. You remember the ordinance? Yes. So when state government is coming up with the ordinance, okay, governor has to give his assent, right? Only governor can promulgate the ordinance, which means state government will do the background work and it will give the bill to the governor, and governor will promulgate the ordinance, which means governor has to give his assent. So instead of governor giving his assent, if he is reserving the ordinance for the president, okay, then here in this case, president has 15 days to take action. Okay, if it is the normal bill, then president has 4 months. If it is the case of reconsideration, president has 2 months. If it is the case of ordinance, president has 15 days. Okay. If an ordinance is reserved for president, president has to take action within 15 days. Within 15 days. President has to take action within 15 days. So president has to take action within 15 days. Understood? So this they have said for Article 200. Okay. For the Article 200, first what they have said, Sarkaria recommendations. If the bill is not in line with the constitution, then only you can implement, then only you can reserve the bill for the president's assent. If the ideology is not in line, then you cannot do so. If it is the case of ordinary bill, okay, president has to take action within 4 months. president has to take action within 4 months. If he is withholding the bill, then he has to come up with the reasons. He has to come up with the reasons. If he has sent the bill, written back the bill for the reconsideration, if the state legislature sent back the bill again, now he has to take the action within 2 months. Okay. If it is the case of ordinance, then he has to take the action within 15 days. Okay. So along with this, they have given some recommendations for ordinance as well. Ordinance. Maximum ordinance can be repromulgated for only once. Maximum an ordinance can be repromulgated for only once. Only once. So you come up with an ordinance. Okay. You try to make this a permanent law. If not happened, come up with for one more time, which means repromulgate one more time. Okay. And then you cannot repromulgate the ordinance again and again. You have only one chance to repromulgate. Okay. So this they have said about ordinance. Done. Okay. Now the next recommendation is, this is not for any use. Okay. But still sometimes they'll ask you in the exam. Okay. Before we used to have planning commission and national development council. Planning commission and national development council. These together they used to come up with 5-year plans. They used to come up with 5-year plans. So here Sarkaria Commission is recommending to change the name of National Development Council to National Economic Development Council. Okay. So simple. National Development Council to National Economic Development Council. See, I mean, is there is any relevance today? No, because it is already done. We came up with Niti Aayog. Yes. So, but still, I mean, they have changed the name. They recommended to change the name. So sometimes this they'll ask you in the examination. Okay, that's the reason I'm telling you. But when it comes to conceptual thing, it doesn't have any relevance for the today's world. Done. Now we don't have this National Development Council. Okay. So don't bother much about this. Okay. But just remember, they have included one more word in between. Okay. The next one is zonal councils. Zonal councils. Any idea what zonal councils are? No? Okay. See, when this 1956 Act came, Reorganization Act, we created some states. Okay. Along with the states, they have came up with a beautiful concept that, see, on the top we have some states. Okay. They merged some states and they formed Northern Zonal Commission. Okay, Northern Zonal Commission. And the Western states, they conclude they collided some states and they formed Western Zonal Commission. And in the center they have formed Central Zonal Commission. In the eastern part they have formed Eastern Zonal Commission, in which Northeast won't include. Okay, in the eastern part, West Bengal, Bihar, Jharkhand, Odisha, Chhattisgarh. Okay, and in the southern part, they have formed one more council, which is Southern Zonal Commission. They came up with this concept. Why? See, if being a single state, if I'm raising my voice towards the center, that doesn't make any impact, much impact, I would say. That doesn't make any much impact. If, see, let's say here, I have told you West Bengal, Bihar, Odisha, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, there are 5 states. If the 5 states are coming together, they are setting up their meetings, they are discussing their common conflicts with the center, and now 5 states together, they are raising voice against the center. Does this makes an impact? Yes, obviously. So to create this pressure on the center, what they have done is they came up with this beautiful concept, zonal council. Later what happened is center made this inactive. Now they are not coming for the sittings, they are not setting up their meetings, they are not coming up with their common problems. So here Sarkaria Commission is recommending reconstitute this zonal councils, reactivate these zonal councils. It will strengthen the federal structure of the country. It will strengthen the federal structure of the country. See, federal structure means state has to have some power, right? Okay, if state is saying something to the center, it doesn't creating any impact, then no federal structure. If 5 states or 6 states they are coming together and then they are raising their voice, if it is creating impact on the center, then obviously it will strengthen the federal structure. Okay, so this Sarkaria Commission is recommending here. Okay, what Sarkaria Commission is recommending is reconstitute and reactivate zonal councils. This will strengthen the federal structure of the country. Federal structure of the country. Clear? Zonal councils. Okay, simple. Instead of one state asking for the demands, here what happens is 4-5 states, they'll come together, they'll ask for the common demands. Okay, now the voice will be strong and the pressure will be more. Okay, so here northeastern states are not included. Northeastern states are not included. Northeastern states, they came up with a concept called Northeast Council, which is formed in 1971. Northeast Council, it was formed in 1971, but at the time of 1971, Sikkim is not part of India. Okay, so Sikkim added in 2003. Sikkim added in 2003. Okay, here Sarkaria Commission is not talking anything about this Northeastern Council, because Northeastern Council, it is always active. They'll come together, they'll sit together, they'll have their meetings, they'll come up with their common problems and they'll demand the center. So this is always active. That's the reason here Sarkaria Commission is not talking about Northeastern Council, but it is talking about Zonal Council. Still, we have many more recommendations. Okay. So what we can do is take a break for 30 minutes. Okay. Come back. But later we'll be having minimum, I think, 1.5 hour session. Okay. So I'll try to conclude. Fine. Take a break for half an hour. Later come back. We'll continue with this Sarkaria Commission recommendations. Okay. So till now we have seen 8, I think. Okay. 8 are quite simple. Everything is simple if you will understand the concept. Fine. Take a break for 30 minutes.